Hey everybody, this is Brad Alexander with the Alexander Home Team, and today I've got with me Kinta Wendt with Waterstone Mortgage.
Hi everybody, good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday.
Wednesday. And what we're saying today is it a bubble? Is the question of the day for Kinta? We're not, there's a lot of things going on, but bubble. Is there a bubble? For those of y'all that are friends with me on Facebook, the other day I made, which was Monday, I made a Facebook post of, is 2021 in a real estate bubble? And is it going to pop like 2008? Lots of comments, lots of opinions. And so who better to bring onto our Facebook Live than Kinta Wendt? And to be honest with y'all folks, me and Kinta have been discussing this. We've been going to classes. Goodness, Kinta, do you remember when we went to that class at Barton Springs probably 18 months ago? We were talking about this. So yeah. That was before this craziness even happened. So Kinta's going to have some opinions about the bubble and the burst and the pop and the crash and whatever we want to call it. And I'm going to have my opinions. We're going to give you a little bit of history. So hang in there, folks. We're talking about the 2021 crazy real estate market that we are seeing. And I've coined it as the premium market. So the 2021 premium real estate market. Take it away, Kinta.
Thanks, Brad. Hi, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your Wednesday. And if I had $1 for every time somebody said the word bubble to me in the last 2 years, I would be a millionaire and Brad and I could retire. Earlier, I told Brad that I feel like Don Ho, just a reference to all the older people out there, because all I am seeing are tiny bubbles. That's what I'm hearing all day long.
By the way, I feel really young because I have no idea who Don Ho is.
It's okay, Brad. We won't hold it against you. But to bubble, or excuse me, the bubble, is there one? So by no means am I an expert in this opinion, but I do have a lot of literature. I do have a lot of experience in this. I have been in this industry for 18 years. So I lived through the 06, 07, 08 era. One thing I can tell you.
Let me stop you there.
Okay.
Let's be clear. I was not a realtor during the 2008 crash, but I bought a house during the 08 crash.
Yes.
But Kinta was in the lending world during that crazy time. So she has, if you ever want to know about if you want to hear some crazy stories, Friday night happy hour, and Kinta's got some. So go ahead. I just want to make sure we were perfectly clear. Kinta lived through that crazy world.
And I'm here to talk about it again. So here we go. One thing that's a little bit different from 08 to today is we're talking about equity. On average right now, people have about 60 to 70% equity in their homes right now. If you go back to 2006 to 2008, it was flip-flopped. People had about 30% equity into their property back then. So that's one difference. So, you know, Brad, we like to talk a lot about how history can repeat itself, right? We're big proponents on history repeating itself. Obviously, the best predictor of the future is what has happened in the past. Well, I am here to dispel that myth in regards to this bubble we're calling, right? History is not going to repeat itself. This is my opinion, and this is solely my opinion based on the information that I've given. So why is history not going to repeat itself? Well, simple economics, supply and demand. I like to equate it to people out there in the term of women's shoes. So Brad's probably thinking, what the hell do women's shoes have to do with the housing market? Well, to explain supply and demand in simple terms, let's use shoes. So you're a shoe manufacturer and you want to make a very exclusive shoe for women out there. So you're going to produce 100 pairs of shoes. Well, what is that going to do? That is going to drive these women crazy. Why? They want this exclusive shoe. And what else are they going to do? They're going to pay for it, right? So the shoe manufacturer is going to increase prices because of high demand. That is a seller's market. On the flip side, you have a shoe manufacturer who makes 10,000 of these shoes, and everybody's wearing them, but nothing super special about them. And now they need to offload a bunch of shoes. Well, what are they going to do? They're going to reduce the prices. That is a buyer's market. So right now, Brad, we are wearing some very expensive shoes up in here.
So
right?
really, whenever I was a high school teacher for 15 years, I did an entire week. So if anybody was ever in my classroom, we spent an entire week on supply and demand. You know, if demand is higher than, this is very simple. In the high school ranks, I spent a whole week on it, but I can do it in 30 seconds. If the demand is here and the supply is here, price goes up.
Right.
If the supply is here and the demand is down here, price goes down. Folks, that's what we're talking about here. But I would argue with Kinta. Now, we're going to agree and we're going to disagree. See, I think history is going to repeat itself. And here's how I think history is going to repeat itself. The crash of '08 is the only time in our real estate market since the year 1900 that prices have gone down. So history is going to repeat itself, and Kinta's going to probably agree with me on this one. If history does repeat itself, we're going to have to wait another 110 years for the prices to go down, because it took 108 years for the first time. It's kind of like that 100-year flood. You know, it's called a 100-year flood because it happens in an extreme, rare situation. 2008 was a 100-year flood. And so it took 108 years for the first one to happen. It's going to, I'm not saying it's going to take another 100 years, but folks,
I'll agree it'll take 100 years.
it's not going to be, I was on the phone with a guy today, and he said, I'm holding my money because I'm ready for these prices to bubble to burst. Folks, me and Kinta are both say, I mean, hey, get that. They're not going to go down. In the history of our country, real estate prices have gone down one time.
All right. So let's talk about rates, right? Everybody sees rates. So one thing that remains clear is as debt rises, interest rates decrease. And by debt, I mean federal debt. So as debt rises, interest rates decrease. Okay. So we have seen this happen. As an economy get into more and more debt, we're seeing interest rates decreasing. So they put out a stimulus package, right? That's to put money back into this economy, right? And it shows that it's going to stimulate and show some growth. It's like you go out, you buy a brand new car, that stimulates the economy. But in a couple of months, you have to pay on that debt, right? So as debt rises, interest rates decrease. Remember that. And it happens throughout all of the United States. It happens in Asia, in France, in the UK. Very similar, okay? Our economies are very similar. So let's talk about the housing and why it's going to remain hot and continue. Well, number one, demand. The median age of a first-time home buyer is 33 years old, okay? So Brad, if you could bring up this slide that I have for us, hopefully it's on there. All right. So this slide shows that 33 years ago, we had an explosion in births that we are going to carry forward into a demand for first-time home buyers. So if you look at this and you go 33 years ago, that was right around, millennial age. So they are all coming into this market right now to buy homes, okay? And if you go back to what happened in '08, at that time, they did not do the math correctly. And I want to share another slide with you here in just a second. So over the next few years, let's just say 5 years, we are going to have a huge increase in first-time home buyers coming into this market, all right? At the same time, what do we have, Brad? We have a supply issue, right?
So let's talk about supply. Let's talk about the supply.
Okay.
Supply in '08, and I don't want to get into, we're already at 10. I don't want to get too much in this, but the supply in '08 was factored by two things. Number one, the government decided that they wanted to up the percentage of homeowner rates. By the way, folks, I'll be posting my blog today that's going to go into this. So the government said, we want more people to own houses. Well, in order for that to happen, people like Kinta, and like I said, Friday Night Happy Hour, if you want to hear some stories, people like Kinta from the year 2000 to 2007, it was a crazy world on how they were giving loans. The other thing is because of the 33-year thing, we were at an all-time high on new construction inventory. Yep. So we had a high number of foreclosures because we gave loans in 05 and 04 and 03 to people that had no business getting them. And we had a high supply of new construction, the highest supply of new construction our country's ever seen. Okay.
Right.
Fast forward to 2021. Everybody has to get stringent underwriting from Kinta, and we had the lowest new home in construction ever. So it's a totally different ballgame. Go ahead, Kinta.
So if you show this next slide, it shows that COVID has slowed new construction. So we've got tons of people flooding the market to buy a home, right? And what do we not?
What just happened?
There we go. You will see that during the period of COVID, we are 6 months behind on new construction. The builders didn't put anything on the market for those 6 months. And because of that, we have a massive decrease in supply. And what Brad was talking about just a second ago, I'm going to bring up another slide, is record low inventory. So if you look at the marker right here, in 2006, 2007, 2008, we had the highest amount of inventory that we have had since, well, back in 82. But also, we didn't have enough home buyers, like Brad said. Now, look where we're at. In 2021, we have record low inventory and a ton of new home buyers coming into this market. Why do I think this is not a bubble? Because look at this. In order for it to be a bubble, you have to have super high inventory and not enough buyers. And that is exactly what we do not have today.
And let's also keep in mind, folks, yes, prices are going through the roof, but we are also, I mean, when I bought my first house in 2008, I got a 6% interest rate.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a pretty good interest rate at the time. You know, our parents have seen interest rates as high as 18%.
Yes.
So, you know, even though the price is high, if the interest rate's low, if we can find you a home in a lower tax bracket, folks, there's more things that come into play in affordability than just the price. So that's kind of where you've got to go. I was talking to Kinta's better half this morning, who is an agent on our team, Steve, and he was talking about Kinta's got this new program that y'all really need to reach out to her for. And he was talking to me about how it kind of forecasts, you know, where the house is priced now versus waiting 3 months or 6 months or whatever it might be, and seeing just, you know, what the opportunities you've missed out on by waiting. So one of the main reasons why we're doing this video is a month and a half, to be completely honest with y'all, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I had the mindset of sell and wait because I thought this thing was going to pause. There's no pause button, folks. Should you sell? Yeah, we can get right now. The last two houses that Stephanie and I have sold has sold for an average of $45,000 above asking price.
Yeah.
But should you sell and go rent and hold? And I think me and Kent are both agreeing at this point. No, go jump back into the buyer's market as soon as you can, because if you pay $40,000 above market price, Kinta's got it out there that you're going to catch that up. This is a long-term investment. Buying a house is not penny stocks. It's a long-term investment. You're going to be caught up in 4 months.
Right. That's right, Brad. I actually do. And just want to point out that these slides came to me from MBS Highway. So shout out to my team there. And I do have that model where I can forecast in 6 months to a year when people say, I think I'm just going to wait and see. I'm going to show you what it means to wait, how much you're going to lose in appreciation in that house, and then how much it's going to be as far as a payment for you to wait. Because as home prices go up, so does your payment in that sense, because, well, you have less buying power to wait. So just like Brad said, you have a house to sell, you're going to get top dollar for that. Let's take that money, let's reinvest it back into the market and get you a home that you like, and then not wait. Because these appreciation values are here to stay. People keep telling me, well, hey, Kinta, isn't this going to be like California? I'm from California, so I can say things like that. And I'm like, well, if you look at California, they have been able to sustain their prices for 10 plus years. Yes, we are turning into California where we are going to increase year end, and our prices are going to be able to sustain that.
Now, I will say this, because we were talking in the office today about, this whole thing is driven by supply. So if you look at Kyle, Texas, where Kinta and I both live, we've got about 5 new construction subdivisions that are all hitting really, really soon on the west side of the highway. That's not even including the 8,000 homes that are coming on the east side of the highway. But if you look at a neighboring town to us, which is called Buda, which is 5 minutes away, we still do a lot of business there, just on the south side of Austin. There's no new construction. There's one subdivision on the west side of Buda. West Austin, I think we've got, before you get out to Lake Travis, I think we've got, there's very little. Basically what I'm telling you is little pockets that have a lot of inventory coming could see the market soften a little bit on that premium market. So instead of paying a premium, the builders there may actually answer our phone call at some point, right? But in different pockets where there is no new construction inventory coming anytime soon, folks, it's a fight. I mean, it is an absolute fight out there. And so, do I believe that paying $40,000 to $50,000 above appraisal value is going to stay? No, I do not. I don't think that is here to stay. I think now how long is that going to last? I don't know. But do I ever see it going? People think it's going to crash and go back to 2008 where you paid less than appraisal value. Folks, that's not happening. It took 108 years to happen the first time. And if put it to
you this, we're going to be dead, Brad, before that happens again.
If it does, me and Kinta will both buy you the steak and the best steak and the best bottle of wine you could imagine. And you can ask Kinta, I'm a very cheap person. I don't give stuff away. And I'm pretty confident about that. So will it go back to appraisal values at some point? I think so. But will it go below appraisal value? I don't think so.
Well, prime example today, we had a first-time home buyer close on his house, right? This house was adorable. It's almost brand new, okay? You just have to stay in the game. Its persistence is key. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you're getting discouraged because you're getting beat out, that's okay. There's going to be a home for you. Just stay in the game. So Steve was able to find Dean this property out in Lockhart. It's probably one of the cutest houses I've seen. It almost looks like a little miniature version of my house. I love it. Brand new floors and everything. So, I mean, it's out there. It's happening for people, for first-time home buyers, even people who are not cash buyers. He was not a cash buyer, obviously, because he used me as his mortgage company, right? And he did not put 20% down. So it's happening for people, and it can happen for you out there. So please don't give up. Call Brad, call his team, call myself. We are here to help you.
We're closing one tomorrow, Kinta, with you, that it is a down payment assistance. The grant, by the way, folks, Kinta's got the best grant program in the history of the world. And so we're closing one tomorrow with the grant program. So it's still possible out there. You just got to, first of all, you got to hire a realtor that's going to shoot you straight and tell you really where it's at. And we've really been coaching each other on our team and going to a lot of classes and learning on, little intricates on writing those contracts so that we can make $400 appear like it's $4,000. type of deal. Just it's certain ways of writing it up and making it do good. So,
and I will call every listing agent out there and talk up you as a buyer and talk up my buyer agent as well. So that's something that I do that not a lot of other mortgage companies do that. You're definitely not going to get that from push button. It's not going to happen.
Or that rocket company. You're not getting that from the rocket.
Well, that's what I meant. I wasn't going to say their name, damn it.
Well, I can't.
So you're not getting that from push button, but you are going to get that kind of service from myself, to where I'm going to call that listing agent and let them know I've got the most amazing buyer for you. And if I'm somewhere close to the top of your list that you're presenting to your seller, put me up there, and this is why. And I give them all the reasons.
Folks, not only that, but I focus more on the selling side. Kinta's husband, Steve, focuses more on the buyer side. When I'm communicating with someone that's selling their house, it's major points that they used Kinta versus that big establishment push button. She said, yeah, that push button company, you know, that's because at the end of the day, those big companies make a lot of promises, but then we struggle to get to the finish line. You know, I've got Kinta's cell phone number. I can walk over to her house and knock on that door and say, hey, you know, how's this loan doing? So those are the kind of things that we like doing. But ultimately, back to, let's finish this video up. If you're waiting,
wrap it up. It's
probably not a good decision.
Nope.
If you're thinking now, guys, if you're not even thinking about doing anything real estate wise, that's fine. All right. But if you're thinking about doing something real estate, selling and buying, or just buying, if you think it's going to happen in the next 2 years, do it now. Hit the, and I'm not a pressure salesman. I lose a lot of business because I don't blow people up. But if you think you're wanting to do something in the next 2 years, do it now. Don't even wait till August. So, matter of fact, I have a client who paid a renter. This is a true story, Kinta. We're going to be listing a house soon where the homeowner paid the renter to hit the road.
Oh yeah, so they could.
So they could put on the bank. So they could. Yep. I have a landlord that paid a renter. Hey, I'll pay you to get the hell out of town so that I can sell the house.
Hopefully they ask for a bottle of tequila with that.
All right, folks. Well, I am Brad Alexander with the Alexander Home Team. She is Kinta Wendt with Waterstone Mortgage. We would love to help you in any way that we can. Don't wait. If you're going to do something, do it now. Kinta, do you have anything final to say?
Nope, that's it. That's all I got to say. Let's go out there and get people in some homes that they love.
Thank you all for joining us, and we will talk to you next time.